Now, when you look at Putin, he cannot be defeated militarily. Russia is, first, second nuclear power in the world. There is no military solution. So that's why the moment you recognize that Putin is a threat, you have to deal with a very different kind of dilemma. Because now you have to look for a very comprehensive solution that will engage Russia, potentially China, and that puts the problem to a very, very different level. Now, why I believe Putin is the biggest threat? Because in case of both Putin and ISIS or Al-Qaeda, we are seeing, as I feel it, a challenge to the fundamental values of the free world. Why it's inevitable? Because when we look back in history, we always knew that modernity was always a subject of attack from the past. There were forces that wanted to drag us back, the forces that could see modernity, technological progress, political progress as a threat for their very existence and for the source of their power. It's very clear that free world, freedom of speech, liberal democracy, market economy, those are imminent threats for the power base of Vladimir Putin or all sorts of thugs who are using Islamic radicalism as the source of recruit or as an ideology to recruit people and to bring them in. There are always millions, and maybe nowadays hundreds of millions who are dissatisfied, disenfranchised, people who are upset, and they always existed before, and they were always created, made a pool of potential recruits by the forces of evil that wanted us to go back in the history timeline. But today, with all these new technologies that have been provided to everybody in the world, you can actually create not only social networks that are promoting good ideas, you can create social networks that are promoting the most unhuman ideas, the ideas that are promoting, the ideology promoting the heinous crimes. So among all of these threats, I put Putin on top because Putin is a man who is staying in power 15 years. We have to give him credit. He is a very savvy dictator. And I think, by the way, we have to call him what he is, the dictator. Someone who is staying in power, it's a one-man dictatorship, there's no political party behind him. He is the dictator. The same way we call Saddam Hussein or General Pinochet or North Korean dictators. He's a dictator who has no way out. Putin must stay in power, and it's for him everything, not only to protect the wealth of his own and of his cronies, but also to protect his very life. So walking away from Kremlin is not an option. So he's there for 15 years. He proved to be very agile player in both domestically and internationally. He knows how to create these checks and balances, not within democratic society, but within the groups, mafia groups that surrounding him. And he knows how to bluff on the international arena. That's why, for me, he reminds Adolf Hitler, probably the only one who was so also clever in playing this cards.